Welcome to Two Poor Artists, where we're not as poor as the makers of the Star Wars Holiday Special, but mostly we're poor at making art. My name is Benj.
And my name is Isaac. And that's right, we are not as poor as the makers of the Star Wars Holiday Special. Now, if you have never actually heard of the Star Wars Holiday Special, it's not that surprising. It came out...
That's a little bit surprising if you've never heard of it.
Well, I mean, we're...
Like, not seeing it, that's...
pretty nerdy. It's true.
Right, but it's like, it's
become
something
of a legend.
Yeah, but like, it's so well known for how bad it is.
That is very true, because it is the worst thing that Star Wars has ever made, or ever will make. Because, you know, Star Wars came out in 1977, and it was like the biggest thing ever, right?
Right.
People loved it. Children, grandparents, middle-aged people, you know, they all adored Star Wars, as they should have. It was better than anything that had ever come out at that time in history, that's for sure.
Right.
It had special effects, like, you know, actual special effects.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, because nobody expected it to be so big, it was going to be many years before the sequel could come out.
Mm-hmm.
So someone got the bug in their brain.
Like, there wasn't a plan for a sequel, per se. Like, that was just called Star Wars. You know, it wasn't like, oh yeah, there's a whole... you know, trilogy and prequel planned. Not yet, at least.
Yeah, exactly. So because it became so big, someone, I don't know who, someone, they know who they are, decided there should be a holiday special. Mm-hmm. Now, I want you to picture Star Wars for a second. You're probably picturing something cool. Mm-hmm. You know, it might not be your favorite movie. You can debate on which of the movies is the worst. We all know it's episode 8. But the fact is, the holiday special is worse than anything.
Yeah.
It's not only worse than everything Star Wars, it's worse than most things ever put to film.
I mean, one thing, just to get it out in the open, George Lucas had nothing to do with it.
It's true. And that's a good thing.
Like, he allowed them to use the characters, which he immediately regretted.
Yeah, I mean, we just watched, I'll actually say this. We've watched clips of it over the years, the Star Wars Holiday Special. We've never seen it from beginning to end, mostly because it's an hour and 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
And why would you ever do that to yourself?
Every second is bad.
But we just concluded a viewing for the first time in our lives.
Yeah.
Just so we could make this video. Like, we've seen clips. We knew how bad it was.
Right.
But there's something about suffering through an hour and 40 minutes of it.
Yeah, we're like, we need to be able to talk about it in specifics on this.
We're in the right mind space now to properly...
Like, honestly, I don't even know what we're going to draw.
No, neither do
We're here to talk about this thing that we experienced. Mm-hmm. And partly so you don't have to, but maybe you'll want to.
See, like, you might be inspired after this. To, you know, because it's on YouTube. The whole movie's on YouTube. No one cares.
There's no official way to watch it.
No, this movie, this was a TV special.
Yeah, it was put out on broadcast. They never re-released it.
They never rebroadcast it.
Yeah, they never put it on VHS.
Like, can you imagine the hype that would have been happening in 1978, where they're like, the Star Wars Holiday Special is going to be on, and every family in the world gathered around their TV to watch it. And then
it just turned it off immediately.
Immediately turned it off. Like, there's certain points of this where I almost turned it off. There's points where families should have turned it off.
Right.
But imagine being like the one family who was like, you know, they couldn't watch it that night. Yeah. And they're like, oh, I hope somebody recorded it. And everyone is like,
no, we
couldn't do it for you. Like, we care about you too much to record.
Yeah,
although in 1978, did they even have recording?
I don't know.
Maybe they're like, oh, well, it was on TV. Check the TV guide. When's it going to be on again? Because, of course, they're going to show the Star Wars Holiday Special more than once, right?
You would expect it more than once in the same week.
Yeah, like back-to-back double feature, you know? But no, they never showed it again. Like, I imagine the outpouring of telephone calls on rotary-dialed phones was just immense. Yeah. Like, the studio was overwhelmed with shame at having put it into the world.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Oh, we'll release it on VHS." Nope.
No, never.
Never happened.
Never officially released. I don't even think the actors acknowledge, like, because it does have a short segment with Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher and Poor Harrison Ford.
Yeah, he was
like
in it the most.
he was in it the most.
But he didn't have to sing.
He did. It's true. He didn't have to sing. Carrie Fisher sang. There was a surprising amount of singing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
I mean, it's not that surprising since it's a Christmas special or holiday special, Life Day special.
well, like let's get into this. So let's talk about the drawing we're going to do, and then we can talk more about the holiday special. Right. Our job today, what we have set out to do as artists, is in some way, shape, or form, fix the image that the Star Wars Holiday Special has.
Right.
We hope that since most of you probably have never seen the Star Wars Holiday Special, when you hear someone say the words, the Star Wars, I'm saying a lot, the Star Wars Holiday Special,
Right.
you will think of this video first.
Yes.
We're hoping that this video can, in some small way, mend the hurt and the pain that it has caused.
Because, look, we're bad at art. We know it. We acknowledge it. Normally, we warn you about looking at our art.
Yeah.
We say it's a dangerous thing to view our art, and it's quite honestly often disgusting. But what I am going to guarantee is that whatever we draw here today, whatever image we put into your mind to replace that of the Star Wars Holiday Special will be better.
It will be better. You may have noticed for the first time ever, we've actually changed our opening. We've written a new tune, if you will. Because we didn't say we're poor at creating the Star Wars Holiday Special, but mostly we're poor at making art. No, we're better at making the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Like, if you asked us to make it, and I mean, like, legitimately, you gave us zero budget, no actors, no plot, and you just asked us to make the Star Wars Holiday Special with our current skill and technology,
we could do better.
We would do better.
I'm also saying that the drawings you're going to experience today will bring you more joy than the Star Wars Holiday Special has ever brought anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it's fun to laugh at.
It's not.
Our drawing will be better. Like, people will be like, what's better, the drawing that the two artists did of the Star Wars Holiday Special or the actual Star Wars Holiday Special? No one will agree that the actual is better.
Me and you watching it just now, I don't think we laughed even once. I think
it was like cringe. It was like cries of pain.
Each other in disbelief of what we were watching.
It's like those moments when it's like, this is so awkward.
Yeah.
Let's let out like an awkward chuckle.
This wasn't like it's so bad it's good thing. This was like
we shouldn't be watching this.
Yeah, like it was so weird.
Yeah.
And awkward.
Yeah.
And like every character is just like, and it's just like what, like why are we watching these scenes? Like, we shouldn't be watching this. Like, these characters deserve privacy.
They do.
Right now.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Yeah, there's some parts that are so like, I know the 70s were like wild with like substances you shouldn't put in your body. But I've never seen such a like manifestation of that in film. Like, there's no one that wasn't doing substances that made
like,
this
weirdly boring. Like
well, there's
okay. Have you ever watched a movie about like the husband or like the man of the house trying to get home to his family for Christmas? And like that's the whole premise is like, oh, he's having trouble getting home and he's doing whatever he can, and like you're watching him trying to get home, and that's the struggle and the thing. Have you ever thought to yourself, you know what, I would rather watch the wife sitting at home wondering where her husband is for an hour and 40 minutes
with her kid and the main character's father. Like, it's real painful.
Like, that's what we just watched.
I know.
So much of it was just them.
So let me get into the drawing, and then we can kind of unpack this from beginning to end, because I think that's required for people to understand why they shouldn't watch it, what it's about, and why our drawings are better. So I'm going to draw Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yeah, that's the title.
The goal. The goal is to do better, to make a more wholesome story
I mean, you have a blank sheet.
It's already better. It's
there.
already better.
It's all like you can do anything you want to this page. I think.
Yeah, you're welcome. If this is where they'd stopped for if they had come on screen in 1978 with just a blank screen and been like, we apologize.
Yeah,
we promised the Star Wars Holiday Special, but we've watched it.
We didn't make it.
We did make it.
We failed.
We did make it, but it would be wrong to show it to you. You know, this is where greed in the world is really a shame.
But then that would create an even better legend, I think.
Yeah,
because
like,
then
what
people
was
would
it?
be like, what? Yeah, like no one's ever seen. Like George Lucas watched it once, and like no one else.
That would be better.
But instead, you can go on YouTube and watch it right now.
So I'm gonna, you can, and you shouldn't, but you can. I'm gonna set the stage in the movie. It is Life Day. This is a Star Wars holiday,
right?
Well,
specifically, I think it's like a Wookiee planet.
Yeah,
but I think it's the life tree on the Wookiee planet is what they're celebrating.
I guess that
they make it
it's
very
like
unclear.
It is a Wookiee, it is a Wookiee tradition that celebrates like family and joy and
which involves somehow magically clothing yourself and teleporting.
Yeah, it's held at the Tree of Life on the Wookiee homeworld of Kashyyyk. Like, understand that there is a Tree of Life, not unlike most myth or real, it's that's like a thing.
Yeah,
but on the Wookiee planet there is
common mythos.
Yeah. So anyway, Life Day is, this family tradition. You get together, you celebrate love and family and joy and happiness. But the family can't celebrate because Chewbacca is running late. He's out with Han Solo, getting chased by the Empire.
And apparently, the whole planet's just waiting
for Chewbacca. Yeah. Because he's the main character. Of the Wookiees.
Of the whole Wookiee planet. And there wasn't just Wookiees there.
Yeah, what do they... for a holiday special, I almost want to draw, like a Christmas tree, But you can't just draw a Christmas tree. Because it's not... Or can you? That would have been better. This is the Star Wars holiday special. Did we need Life Day?
They didn't decorate with trees for the day that celebrates.
They decorated with, glowing orbs of, happy
that's the other
energy.
Thing. It's they didn't show basically any traditions of Life Day. You know what I mean? Like I didn't feel like I was there celebrating Life Day with them. Isn't it the point?
They ate dinner and held hands and I guess said a Wookiee prayer at some point.
But. They didn't even eat dinner. It was the whole celebrate. Once Chewbacca got there, they held up orbs. Robes magically appeared on them, and then they were walking through a portal through space that brought them to the Tree of Life, where everyone else on the planet was also wearing their red robes, and then somehow Luke, Leia, and Han Solo were all.
They don't
there.
really explain this, but
it was just weird, and I feel like in a holiday special, you should have decorations. It's like what we were doing with last week with our Thanksgiving mascot thing.
Oh, look at how happy those are. I meant those to be eyebrows, but I think they're going to be eyes.
Yeah, those should be eyes now.
Yeah, they should be, right? That's good and
but
proper.
It's we were talking about with our Thanksgiving thing. For it to feel like a holiday, there needs to be decorations. There needs to be music. There needs to be there needs to be traditions and celebrations. We saw none of that. Yes, there was music, but it wasn't Life Day music. It was random bands they somehow convinced to be on there.
Yeah, Jefferson Airplane, which I think they called Jefferson Starship in the thing. They made B. Arthur sing. That was interesting.
Yeah.
This is a Wookiee. He's a happy Wookiee. Can you tell?
I think it's a Cthulhu. Davy Jones.
More hair. That's what I'm getting from you. It needs more hair, right? I don't know.
Or maybe a body would potentially help.
Let's start with hair, because hair covers a multitude of sins, as we've learned on this channel.
Hair. So what aspect of the movie are you fixing?
Just all of it. I'm going to just go with the main point. It's about a family of Wookiees celebrating Life Day.
Mm-hmm. I honestly think
Star Wars Holiday Special.
if that's what it was, like just Chewbacca was home, you didn't even have to
Yeah.
worry about that whole subplot.
I can't express how boring the movie is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, it's so boring because
so much is happening and it's so crazy.
95% of it is you watching Chewbacca's wife and son and father sitting around their house
Who don't talk.
I think I counted the first 12 minutes of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's no humans speaking. It's just weird Wookiee sounds.
Unless you count like the intro where it did show like Chewbacca and Han Solo trying to get home.
Now again, yeah, okay, fine. But like, it is so bad.
Yeah.
Look, I'll give him some little teeth.
Yeah, because it's just them sitting at home doing home things. Boring home things.
Oh my gosh, what is that? That was supposed to be an arm and it got away from me. Well, I mean, I guess Wookiees have hairy arms, right?
Yeah.
What do Wookiee hands look like? Do you know what Wookiee hand? Like, do you
they're
ever
like
see
Muppet
a Wookiee hand?
They're like hairy.
Like,
Muppet
so it's
hands.
just like a single.
But they also have claws at the end. Of
Do
them.
they? I don't,
Yeah.
I can't. For how big of a Star Wars fan I am, I can't really picture a. There's a Wookiee finger. Is that? There's a Wookiee arm.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay,
it's hairy and has a claw at the end.
Claw?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay. We're good now? Anyway, so as I fix just the traditional, you see like a drawing of just like a family celebrating Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
If it was like a family celebrating Christmas, I would just draw them all sitting around the Christmas tree, drinking eggnog and opening presents and smiling. Like that would be your traditional, and you'd look at it and you'd feel warm in the heart.
Right. Not like weirdly cultish.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
Like, that's the thing. It's like Chewbacca got home, and you're like, okay, now it's time to like see what this Life Day is all about. And it's just like
immediately it fades to them all in red robes.
Like, are they dying? Is Life Day actually like a funeral for his dad? Like,
yeah,
before he died? Like, it was just so weird because they just like they hold up these orbs, they immediately are wearing red robes, and then they're walking with everyone else in the planet, walking through a portal in space. Like that. Like, what was that happening? Like, were they teleporting? Was it all in their imagination? Was it fake?
I will say I like drawing Wookiees suddenly because there's a lot of hair.
Mm-hmm. All sins can be covered.
Like the hands are just like, oh, it looks like the fingers aren't right. It's just how it's just
fur. Hair. The hair wasn't brushed.
You just don't understand, yeah. Anyway, so let's walk through the movie. It starts with Han Solo and Chewbacca getting chased by the Empire.
Yeah.
You're like, ooh, this is good. Spaceships, outer space, Star Wars, woo, yay! Cut to Chewbacca's wife and son and father. Let me just say this:
after the
if you
really
think,
long, like, here's who's in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, opening credits are always boring, but those gave you hope.
But it was like one of those lame ones where it like shows you the character and like who's playing them. Like, it was like it's way longer than it needed to be.
Yeah. But here's the thing: it cuts to the Chewbacca household.
Mm-hmm.
And you have hope for a split second until you see them. If you think that Chewbacca is creepy and ugly looking, first of all, you're kind of wrong. Because you haven't seen his family. His son. Oh, yeah. Gosh, his son.
But not as creepy as his dad.
His dad is like
with the bottom lip that like goes up.
No teeth. They make a point of just no teeth.
Mm-hmm.
There's no teeth in his father's mouth. His wife vaguely looks like Chewbacca.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
she's kind of like low budget Chewbacca.
Yeah, she's like by far the best of the family.
It's true. But the other two, what was his son's name? Lumpy.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, first of all, if you're gonna make a Star Wars holiday special, don't give Chewbacca's son the name Lumpy. Like, it's just terrible and mean. Like, Chewbacca hated his son, clearly. But The point is, go Google. Just don't watch it. Just Google Star Wars Holiday Special Lumpy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh.
But it's also just like their family. Like there's this whole thing about like Wookiees.
Lumpy is in my nightmares.
Like Wookiees can't talk.
No.
To humans. They can talk to each other, but they can't speak the language of humans. They can all understand the language of humans, but they can't speak it. And so there's always like this thing when you're watching Star Wars where you're just like, is Chewbacca dumb? You know, like Han Solo kind of treats him like he's dumb.
Kind of, but he's also like repairing the ship.
Right, yeah. So
you're like, maybe they're not.
No, he's not really that dumb. But then you go and watch his family. Like watching his wife try to cook.
Oh gosh.
You're just like, no, she's dumb. Like it's embarrassing. Like that's the thing. You feel bad watching it because you're just like spying on this family
like
of
you
idiots.
shouldn't be watching it.
Like,
you know, like almost every moment of the whole holiday special is kind of like, I don't feel like I should be watching this moment of their lives.
Because it's like they're doing embarrassing tasks.
Yeah, okay. So like the whole family is getting ready for Life Day, I guess.
Right.
The son is
whatever that even means.
No, because they never explain Life Day. You know, they're just like vaguely hint that it's Life Day.
You
know,
like go to the life tree, the tree of life, sing one song. Well, a princess from another planet sings one song.
Yeah.
Then you go back to your home and eat dinner. That seems to be all of Life Day.
Yeah, I don't know. But the fact is, the whole family's getting ready for Life Day.
Yeah.
You know, as you do. The mother, who is truly dumb, is like watching what I can only describe. Okay, just this is the thing. Like so many parts of this holiday special were like 5 minutes too long.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, this is kind of funny, but after 5 minutes, it wasn't really funny.
Yeah, it was like it's humorous. It was like funny in the sense that like it was funny that they got an actor to do this thing.
Yes. Okay.
Like
I'll give them that.
That's the type.
There is,
but not.
There is like
do it for 10 minutes. Like
so, Chewbacca's mom, or Chewbacca's not mom, wife, is watching what I can only describe as like space. What's her name? Julia Child, like the cooking lady. Mm-hmm. Just eccentric, weird, telling you to teaching it gets really crazy. Making bantha, what was it? Bantha surprise.
Yeah, bantha surprise.
If you don't know what a bantha is, it's like the big cow type, like with horns, creature that lives on Tatooine. Bantha surprise.
It's basically their cow replacement.
Yeah, and okay, so there's like this whole cooking segment of making bantha surprise, where they're whisking, and then they're stirring and whisking, and then the cooking lady thing has like 4 hands, and they're pounding it and whisking and stirring, and Chewbacca's wife is like vaguely trying to follow along and not able to.
Yeah, like she doesn't have the right equipment. But, like, that's not the embarrassing part because that's fine. You can cook without the right equipment.
Yes.
But, like, she's also just not following the steps at all. And also just, like, it was so weird and awkward.
Yeah, you're like, I shouldn't be watching this, you know? But anyway, the cooking segment's really weird. I won't even get into the fact that you're clearly watching, like, a dude dressed up like a space woman. Mm-hmm. You know, because you could do those jokes a little better in the 70s. The fact is, it was so, like, we're just watching, like, it hurts you to watch it. You're like, oh, like, it's so weird.
Yeah.
Like, it's a different kind of weird. Like, this if it was trying to be weird in its own unique flavor, this holiday special nailed like a weird feeling of weird.
Because it was trying to be weird. Like, that cooking show was weird, and it got crazier every second.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like the things that she was saying, or whatever, was saying, like, got weirder and weirder, like, as it went on. Like, it started off weird, but it's like once that third arm came out, and like when she was like mixing, whisking, mixing, pounding, mixing, it
was like a joke that just kept going.
And then like her hair was like getting more messed up as she was like just going crazy.
I honestly thought that part was almost funny.
Yeah, like that was kind of funny. But then it cuts over to Chewbacca's wife trying to like follow this, and she only has 2 arms. She doesn't have the right equipment. and she like clearly doesn't even understand what's being told, and it's like that's the embarrassing part. You know, it's like you're like, oh, okay, this thing she's watching is supposed to be like goofy, but then it was just embarrassing to watch her trying to copy it.
Yep. No, it hurt. It was painful. I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm. And then their family friend came.
Is he a family friend? Because
he was so creepy.
I was very unsure if he was a family friend. He's like a merchant, you see. Mm-hmm. This show loves to do things where, like, suddenly the Wookiee family is, like, contacting someone on, like, a video phone, you know, thing. Like, because that was cool in the 70s.
Yeah.
Like, they contact Luke at some point, and Luke is just like, what? Chewbacca's missing?
Yeah, he left here on time.
Yeah, but I'm not going to help look for him.
Just I want to see a smile.
Can we?
Because that was appropriate to say to a woman back in
yeah, just smile. I'm sure it'll be okay. Give me a smile. I was like, Luke, you need to... First of all, we have to address that he looks nothing like Mark Hamill.
Like it was Mark Hamill.
But it wasn't.
Like, it couldn't have been.
It looked
someone wearing Mark Hamill's face.
It 100% looks like someone wearing a pretty good Luke Skywalker mask.
Yeah.
But, like, his hair was wrong. His eyes were wrong. It was like whoever the, like, makeup department was just, like, plastered it on his face.
Like, they literally got plaster.
Until it didn't look like him anymore.
Yeah, like, they literally got plaster, put it on his face, and then painted on his face.
That's
what it looked like. And then put a wig on.
It's painful. Like, every time the camera gets close to him and you can, like, look him in the eyes, you're like, who is that?
Yeah, like, from a distance,
I know
like,
it's...
Maybe that's Luke. But you zoom in... The worst thing.
It really was.
Like, just look up a picture
of Mark Hamill in the Star Wars. See, this is the best way to go through this. We'll tell you what pictures to look up. You look up Lumpy the Wookiee. You look up Mark Hamill.
And we're not going to show you like we respect you more than to force you to see pictures of this.
Uh-huh.
Like, look it up at your own
peril.
Yeah, but they contact people. But then this family friend comes over.
Yes.
And, I mean, at least that's what he calls himself. You can't hear the Wookiee side of it because they don't talk. He does maybe save them or something. It was so hard to tell what the plot was happening. Even the people that could talk, like, it was so hard to understand what they were saying.
This family friend has, like, a mumbling issue.
Yeah.
Like, it felt kind of like the microphone was just in a different room while they were trying to record him. But he also just says things like, I think intentionally mumbled. Yeah,
and he'll like mumble, like walk away, like he's a mumbler, like the whole time.
He's a mumbler. It's true.
But yeah, so he comes over and he like brings gifts, which I guess is a thing on Life Day. Maybe he's the only one that brings gifts.
But he shows up at the house. Like they had just been talking to him as he's in his shop. You know, talking to with an Imperial officer.
Right,
we thought he was a bad guy.
At
first.
Whole time.
We're like, he's clearly selling them out.
Even at the end, like as he's like saving them, I'm like, no, he's selling them out somehow. Like they're, like I'm convinced. Even now, I'm a little bit convinced that he might be a bad guy.
He might have been a bad guy. Like that would have explained a lot more. But he shows up at the house and he like forces. Gosh, he forces Chewbacca's son.
Yeah.
To like. Give him a kiss
and
before
a hug
before he gives the present.
And you're like, okay, fine.
Maybe Wookiee tradition is weird.
Yeah, it's like that's weird, but it's like okay,
different species,
species, and he's just he's like, oh, why are you being so shy? We're buddies, type of thing. And it's like I can kind of understand that, like that's like uncle behavior, somewhat. But then
creepy uncle behavior.
Yeah, creepy uncle. But it's like it's almost acceptable. But then he makes Chewbacca's wife kiss him before he gives her his gift.
Again, I don't know how Life Day is celebrated.
But it's just like if she maybe she doesn't want that present that bad.
Yeah, but I guess
the only time we see that present used is an Imperial soldier using it.
Yeah, so there's that. It's some inappropriate behavior.
It's so creepy. The whole to the family.
Yeah, he kind of was.
And then, I mean,
You get the impression that he only
talk about the gift.
You get the impression.
Chewbacca's dad.
Okay, we can discuss this in a second. It's like you get the impression that this friend only shows up when Chewbacca's away.
Right? Yeah.
You know,
Well,
and you're like, okay, whatever.
Like Chewbacca doesn't let him come around.
How do we say this next part delicately to keep this a family friendly? I don't know that we can.
Yeah.
He brings
a music video. That's what he brings.
He brings the grandfather a music video.
Yeah.
How does he say it?
This is the part where we would turn it off.
Yeah,
Like,
if we had been
before we
watching,
even, like-
if we had been watching this with our family in 1978, we would have turned it off.
Like, not even find out what he's watching because
No.
he's like, I know what you want to watch.
I brought you the it's like the goods, the good
And then he
stuff.
like puts in the cassette.
Yeah,
into his,
and-
like mine. Like it was like what even was a device? It was like
I
a
don't-
device that makes you dream.
It's kind of like a
something.
helmet that you lay on a chair.
But it didn't go over his eyes, so it
Didn't
wasn't.
go over his eyes. Yeah, it did.
I'm pretty sure it like
It was like a
made
creepy
him dream it.
chair
not-
VR set that makes you dream about a beautiful woman that then sings you a song. A 7-minute song, I will add. It was so
Like I mean,
long.
we were like skipping through it.
Of course
And
we
it's
were,
like-
because we're
and
Christians.
it's like too long.
Yes, it was so long, and it was so inappropriate.
Yeah, because it's like
And-
you're like, surely if we skip 5 minutes,
Yes.
it'll be done.
No, it is still happening. So Grandpa watches that, and you have. This is the part that we like. This is what we mean. You're watching Grandpa watch this.
Right? Yeah. It's like,
Like-
it will show what it is, and then it'll show his face. And you're like, I don't want
It
to
shows
see
Grandpa
his
like
face.
smiling and like
replaying parts.
like growling and rewinding. And you're like, what is this? Well, we shouldn't be watching this. You into the Chewbacca household, and he's like in the living room watching it. Like we kept like skipping and then like looking at each other and being like, we shouldn't be watching any of this. But it's it's like it was probably not as bad as we're actually saying, but it was also we would have turned it off.
Yeah.
If
Like,
no kids should watch it.
No, if we had kids around, we wouldn't have even found out
No.
what he was watching.
We would have been
because
like,
of the
that's it,
way,
children, time for bed.
like,
We're
the
never
way-
watching Star Wars again.
the way the guy introduced what he was going to show him.
Yeah.
Was enough.
Like you knew. And then like in a normal, old kids show, old family show, they'd be like, oh, I got something special for Grandpa. And then it would
Yeah.
you knew it would cut away.
Right, yeah.
And like it would just be like a vague, insinuation that he's watching something.
Right, yeah.
This
that
shows
happened with
you
the Rugrats.
what he's watching and him watching it.
Yeah.
So weird. Let's move on.
For like 7 minutes. Like,
minutes.
it was,
That is the worst part of the whole
oh,
thing.
yeah. By far.
Moving on. I'm gonna finish my drawing. Let me just explain my drawing really quickly. So in Life Day, you have glowing orbs.
Yeah.
These are not spiders or chocolate chip cookies. Despite the very close resemblance, they are, in fact, glowing glass orbs filled with lights.
Mm-hmm.
There were no lightsabers in this holiday special,
No.
and that's what everybody wants from Star Wars.
Right, yeah.
I'm sorry, but
There
I
was
will
some
never...
spaceships, which is the other
I
thing.
will never like something Star Wars as much if it doesn't have lightsabers in it. Like, think of all the Star Wars stuff that's come out lately. Like, people love the show Andor, about, like, the pilot who was in Rogue One. There's never a lightsaber in the show. I can't like it that much.
Right.
I can like Mandalorian because there are lightsabers at some point.
Mm-hmm.
That is Star Wars. It is the thing that makes Star Wars unique. You can have laser guns and everything. Star Wars has lightsabers.
Right.
This didn't have them. I think it's a big reason why it ruined it. So you get out, you're hanging lights for Life Day, and all the children hold up their lightsabers and they wave them around. And maybe you cut them open in like space candy, like
Right,
space
like
pinatas,
Yeah.
I'd like that idea. I like that there's Chewbacca, there's his family, plus one. Maybe that's the family friends arm on the far right. he wasn't a Wookiee, he was a human,
he
but
was a human.
he could have a hairy arm.
Yeah,
And everybody gets together and they light their lightsabers and they turn on the lights and they hit the pinata. This would have been a better, more wholesome, family friendly.
but also you have Chewbacca, and then there's wife, father, and son. You don't. It's not like you're not.
Well, it's wife, father. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, like you don't have too many.
Maybe I should add the family friend. It's just like a. And you just hear like a smooch sound. Wait, no, I'm trying to fix it. Oh man, it's too late now. Well, again, maybe that's just like tradition on this.
Mm-hmm.
He has like a, I don't know, like a gift.
Yeah. The next part.
I'm fine with just accepting that random family friends bring by presents and exchange them for kisses.
I mean,
like if that's life day, fine.
That's fine, but it's like forcing, like being like disappointed that they haven't kissed you the second you walked in the door. And being like, where's my smooch? I mean, he didn't say that, but like he basically said, I don't know what he said. He mumbled.
He mumbled it, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but then the next part is where you're like, oh, the excitement's happening.
Yes, because it does
halfway through.
It does cut back every once in a while to Chewbacca and Han Solo flying around in the Millennium Falcon, and that stuff is cool. It's Star Wars. First of all, it doesn't look like it was made on the Mr. Rogers soundstage, which is how the rest of it feels. The quality. People watch episode 4, 5, and 6 of Star Wars, and they're like, it's so old looking and bad looking.
Right.
This made me appreciate how good episode 4, 5, and 6 looks. Because, in all honesty, this is what it should have looked like. This is the quality of special effects and costumes and lighting and acting that came out of the 70s.
Yeah, like all the other like Star Wars knockoffs from the 70s,
are
even
this
things
bad.
that were made
like years later,
were this quality. But Star Wars was better than that. Yeah. So it's like the next part is like Han Solo and Chewbacca, they warp drive or
light speed, come on.
Whatever they call it in Star Wars.
Man.
They do that and they accidentally end up in a, not a federation, empire, whatever they're doing.
Yeah, they show up.
They show up and they're fighting TIE fighters.
And it's pretty cool. There are 2.5 seconds of cool in the holiday special.
But then because of that, the Empire also becomes aware of the attempt, like what direction they're going in and whatnot.
They're like, what? They're going back to Chewbacca's house? Because apparently that's just...
So then they issue to the planet a, no flight thing, which actually that doesn't even ever matter.
It never matters. There's a lot of things in this that never matter.
But they also do like an inspection on every house.
Yes.
That's like Darth Vader's one appearance.
Yeah, Darth Vader's one scene is kind of cool. He's like, well, okay, it's kind of cool. Let me explain why it's only kind of cool. He's like, we're looking for the missing or the hidden rebel base. Okay. Well, this is where like the writing of this is really bad too. It's not just the creepiness of it and the awkwardness of it. It's the writing is atrocious. He says, we're looking for the hidden rebel base. I want you to go to that planet and search every house. Every house. As if an entire rebel base is hidden in someone's house. Like, look in every household. Why, Darth Vader? Like, what are you thinking? Maybe this is why it took so long for them to find, the rebels, because they're like, we look for the whole rebel base in everyone's. It's like in their basement. Is that what they're expecting?
Yeah, well, especially since like clearly like a commander or something came to, Chewbacca's house.
Yeah,
and they were there for like 40 minutes.
Like, how do they not?
Like, they were there for so long.
Like, a good half of the holiday special is like mean Imperial officers searching through Chewbacca's house. My personal favorite thing that they do in Chewbacca's house is they go into Chewbacca's son's room and they just mess up his room. they knock stuff off the walls. They take his big stuffed animal Bantha and they rip the head off. And then they go downstairs and they all meanly look at little kid Chewbacca and they're like, you better go clean your room. It's like,
there's no reason for any of what they did there.
I think the writers were just like, what's the worst thing you can tell a kid? Clean your room. That's right. go clean your room. And there's like a sad 7-minute scene where because every scene in this is like many minutes too long.
Yeah.
It's like they padded it for length. For example,
it had
when
to
he
be
goes up to
hour
clean his
40.
room, Lumpy the Wookiee, when he goes up to clean his room, you watch him walk up every single step of the stairs.
Yep.
Like, you watch him walk up 10 steps to where it turns, and then the camera cuts, and you watch him walk up the rest of the stairs. Yeah. And then, like, 35 seconds later, he's in his room, and it's messy, and it's sad. He's sad.
And he's putting his broken toy to bed.
Are you going to start your drawing now?
Yeah.
Before we continue to expound upon the wonders of the Star Wars Holiday Special, what are your plans for your drawing?
My plans for my drawing is
because I think mine is more wholesome than anything we just watched.
I think so. Yours showed lightsabers and whatnot. I think
I still stuck with the general decorations of Life Day, which apparently I didn't draw him in a robe.
No, you didn't
like that. I think that needs fixing.
The weird robe.
Like literally, the last scene of the movie is like the Star Wars cast. Chewbacca, Han Solo, Leia, Luke.
Yeah,
the 2 droids. But then like they're all together. But Chewbacca's just in like a weird cult red robe.
Right.
And you're like,
and
why?
like everyone else on the planet is also in these red robes.
It's definitely a Wookiee cult. But
right. But it wasn't just Wookiees. It was like everyone else too.
Yeah. How are you going to fix the Star Wars Holiday Special?
I'm going to fix it by just boycotting the whole thing. I mean, you kind of did it with.
So you're just not going to do a drawing?
No, I'm going to do a drawing.
Oh, I see.
But it's just. First of all, no one wants Life Day, right? What people
I
want,
guess not.
What people want is
the fact that they invented a weird holiday.
Yeah, what people want is Star Wars Christmas special. They want Christmas, and they want lightsabers
but it's
and
holidays,
Star Wars.
Maybe there's like a Jewish family who wanted a menorah.
No,
that's why they had to invent their own holiday, to not offend people.
Yeah, but
plus you'd get all the churches who are like, I don't know if Wookiees really, celebrate the birth of Jesus, but you're going to fix it.
No, yeah,
okay, because like this would be better than Life Day.
This would be better.
Okay, perfect.
That's what I'm gonna show you.
I think you're onto something. I think that's better. Might not make sense for the Star Wars world.
No, it will make sense.
Might cause some religious backlash, but you've drawn a sun.
No, it's a planet.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. The fine line of difference between those, but whatever. Star, sun, planet, yeah, whatever. As you continue drawing what I can only imagine is the Wookiee home planet.
It doesn't matter what planet it is.
That's good. I will talk about the one part of this.
That's another thing. The Wookiees are not the center focus. No, like that was a dumb choice.
Yeah,
because like, you know who we want to see more of?
Oh,
people that can't talk.
Yeah, no, that was rough. Like arguably the main 3 characters,
are just
growling and grunting, and
you know what? It's kind of like when the Imperial officers get here. There needs to be a human there to talk to them.
Yeah, to translate.
So let's get that mumbler guy.
Yeah,
to come in.
Like I imagine if you were watching this on a 1978 television set, you just wouldn't have understood anything that was being said the whole time.
Yeah,
because like we're watching it on like a nice LED 2024 TV, with speakers that I imagine are better quality. I will say this though, while you start your drawing. I will talk about the one part of the Star Wars Holiday Special that was. I can't use the word good. I can't. It was the best part. In fact, it's the only part that in very limited capacities has been re-released outside of the Star Wars Holiday Special. Mostly because it has absolutely nothing to do with the Star Wars Holiday Special. There's a cartoon segment where Lumpy, Chewbacca's son, Lumpy, is watching cartoons because
this is also weird.
When Imperial officers
when the Imperial officers this is while they're messing up his room.
Yeah.
Like
this is arguably the saddest part cuz like Lumpy's like upset that they're up in his room ransacking the place, so he like buries his feelings deep in and turns on cartoons. And he watches a cartoon which suspiciously It is about the main characters from Star Wars fighting against the Empire. You know, like if Imperial officers, this is just a tip for all of you at home. If Imperial officers are in your house asking you if you're part of the Rebel Alliance and ransacking, you know, don't then put on a cartoon that they are watching over your shoulder where you are watching rebel people fighting against the Empire, one of which who is your father. It's kind of like an admission of guilt, I think, you know, because anyway, this is actually the coolest part because he's watching this cartoon about characters from Star Wars encountering Boba Fett. Boba Fett, if you don't know, showed up in episode 5. This holiday special came out between episode 4 and 5. This is the second Star Wars thing ever released. And it's what introduced Boba Fett, and he's cool.
Yeah.
He's cool in the cartoon.
That is definitely the best part.
Yeah. Like, he shows up riding a dinosaur. That's cool. Kids like dinosaurs.
Yeah, kids, we proved that.
And we have. And he shows up and he fights and he's tough and he betrays them. And you know, it's a pretty good introduction of the character who then showed up in episode 5 and was honestly kind of lame in episode 5 and 6. And I know people liked him in episode 5 and 6, but they shouldn't have because he really doesn't do anything. So that was the coolest part.
He did a lot in this. So
the problem with the cartoon, because we can't just say it was good.
No, because it wasn't good.
The problem with the cartoon is the animation is, again, done by someone who has been doing substances that they shouldn't be.
I also think they took like 3 minutes to make the like 10-minute long
just go
animation.
Google this for me, since we're Googling things today. Look up Han Solo.
Yeah, 'cause normally we would show them these things, but it would just be mean.
It would be. We're giving you the choice today. Look up Han Solo holiday special cartoon. Just look at his face. Like, their faces are really, really weird looking.
Like
in certain shots. In parts, Luke and Han Solo and the droids look sort of kind of normal. But then there's other angles and stuff in the animation. I'm guessing they just had 2 drastically different animators animating them. One for close-ups and one for faraway shots. Because they look real creepy.
Yeah, like my poorly drawn... Like, if you took a still of an X-Wing drawn in that animation, they would be as badly drawn as my X-Wings right here.
We could animate a better show.
Yeah.
I think.
Like, you've seen our animation skills.
Yeah, and
I'm still making that claim.
I think I need to start retracting some of the things I'm saying. The point is, the animation makes it hard to watch. It was kind of cool. It's definitely better than the live-action Wookiees. But it's not good. You know, it helps you forget a little bit that you're watching the horrible Star Wars holiday special. Okay. There's a couple other major events that still happen in the holiday special. But I'm just going to acknowledge that you've drawn a paper mache X-Wing.
Yes.
And another paper mache X-Wing that is getting a
a
little close to that other one.
These are like... These are officially well done.
It kind of looks like a Star Wars X-Wing, like... You know when a hummingbird wants a girlfriend?
No.
And it'll flutter, birds. They flutter around and dance. That's kind of what it looks like these X-Wings are doing. It's like a mating ritual between the 2 X-Wing planes. What is happening right there? What have you just drawn? This is like how X-Wings are born. What is there a rainbow coming off of that one?
It's not a rainbow.
What is it?
You'll see.
I can't see it so far. I just see Let's talk about B. Arthur. If you don't know B. Arthur, she's in Golden Girls. Not that I've seen more than a minute and a half of Golden Girls, I think, in my life.
Well, first of all,
okay.
Before we even get to that,
but B. Arthur's scene. Just we have to explain how it's introduced.
Yes.
Okay.
Because while the Imperial officers are in the house still,
Oh, it's so
the TV
bad.
comes
It's such
on.
bad writing.
the TV comes on, and it's just like, this is mandatory watching, viewing, live stream
For every Imperial employee. Officer.
And it's like, so like while they're doing the search, it just comes on every TV.
Every TV in the world, apparently. In the whole galaxy.
Yeah, multiple worlds, because they're at the Wookiee homeworld, and it's like...
It's happening on other planets.
It's a Life of Tatooine film they have to watch.
Literally a, picture like a nature documentary, you know? Here's the life of the hummingbird, you know, watch it and it's literally like the announcement comes on, we want all Imperial people to watch this to better understand the life of people on Tatooine. So it cuts.
That's definitely how they show it, and that's how it starts. It starts with showing a street view of Tatooine.
Yeah, some leftover shots they didn't use in episode 4 clearly. Yeah. And then it goes to the bar, you know, the cantina from episode 4. And we find okay, so this is supposedly a live view of what's happening in the cantina in Tatooine. That every TV, because they're in Chewbacca's house.
Yeah, they're in Chewbacca's house.
This is every TV in the galaxy
and it's
cuts to this scene.
So, this is literally Darth Vader is just we need you to search every house right now for the Rebel base.
Yes.
And then, 15 minutes later, it's just now watch this mandatory
I can't even imagine the Emperor giving a time for a snapshot of the culture of Tatooine that you have to watch. Yeah. So anyway, we cut to the cantina and we find B. Arthur being the lady behind the bar. Yeah, and the first 6 or 7 minutes of this scene is a guy coming up to the bar and hitting on her, basically flirting with her, saying he couldn't, when he saw her last, she said 5 words, which I think were something
hope to see you again.
Hope to see you again. It was something. It was not the exact words. It was hope to see you again. And he comes in with a flower and pours out his heart, and she's really confused, obviously, as to who this guy even is. And let's just talk about the fact that he orders a drink and then pours it in the top of his head that kind of looks like a volcano.
He's like a kappa from Japanese
folklore. Yeah, he has a volcano head. And he sits there and unsuccessfully and really awkwardly flirts with the lady at the bar until he sees her turn to somebody else in the bar and be like, hope to see you again soon. And then his heart broken.
Yeah, and he just leaves.
You'd think after 7 minutes of every Imperial officer in the galaxy having to watch that, it would be over. But no. We get almost like a weird fourth wall break at this point, where in the cantina, you see that they're also watching this. So just try to imagine.
It also tells them, in the cantina, they watched a message from the Imperial officers saying
the whole planet is
whole planet's on lockdown,
on martial law.
Martial law. Go to your houses.
So I picture that everyone in the cantina was watching whatever camera is following this guy unsuccessfully flirting at the bar. And then because it was so bad and painful on Tatooine that the whole planet had to go on martial law.
Right.
This then triggers.
She starts to sing a song to try to convince everyone to go home.
Yes.
They were just told to do.
This is one of the parts where we start skipping a minute at a time through the video, thinking the song must be over.
No, yeah, it goes on.
People must have left the bar.
And at the same time, we're now talking to each other, me and Isaac, saying are they still they're watching this?
Yeah, is this still being broadcast?
House, and then it cuts
to Chewbacca's house.
Chewbacca's house, where they're watching.
They're still watching
this. So this was part of the broadcast.
The unsuccessful flirting, the seeing it being put on martial law, her complying with martial law.
It wasn't a weird cut from the life thing to the cantina.
So
all of this cantina stuff.
Keep in mind that
also part of it.
Darth Vader and the Emperor wanted everyone who works for the Empire in the whole galaxy to see B. Arthur's barkeep woman being unsuccessfully flirted anyway. And then they wanted Darth Vader wanted all of his employees to see her sing the people out of the bar. Mm-hmm. That's what they wanted.
Yes.
There's a surprising amount of singing in this show. I mean, sure, holiday special.
Like, it's kind of expected,
but it's also
like, why? It's Star Wars.
It is. B. Arthur sings. Jefferson Airplane randomly. There's a whole scene after this back in Chewbacca's house where, how do I explain? The Imperial officers are still searching. They are doing a very extensive search of his house, Chewbacca's house. They're there for like 45 minutes, like we said.
It's like
crazy. They open up what I can only describe as like a record player, but a holographic record player.
Yeah. They make the family friend turn it on.
Yeah, there's like an awkward 3-minute scene of him like pretending to know how to open it, but not.
He's like takes forever to turn it on.
Yeah, it's like 3 minutes of you watching the family friend try to open the holographic record player. Works. Yeah. So anyway, he opens it up.
Like, you're like, the whole time you're like, oh, he's delaying because whatever this guy's going to watch is like incriminating to Chewbacca.
You would think, right? Like, he's like, oh, I don't quite know how to turn it on. And the Imperial officer's like, turn it on right this second or I'm going to get nasty. And then he opens it and it's just a 3D concert of Jefferson Airplane singing the worst song I've ever heard. We've said that things are mumbly in this.
Right.
And I know Jefferson Airplane is just kind of hard to understand in general. It was so hard to understand and so hard to see them because all their instruments were vaguely glowing like lightsabers. Now just picture this Imperial officer who's been tasked with searching Chewbacca's house, sitting down at Chewbacca's kitchen table, opening this, and like smiling and tapping his finger along as he watches the entire music video of Jefferson Airplane. And then just awkwardly getting up at the end and being like, oh yeah, I gotta finish searching the house. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Why are we watching so many scenes in this? They're like, why are we watching this guy watching this? Like, you know, like every scene is like, I shouldn't be. You feel like a creep, like peeking in through the window, watching so many things.
We should not be watching.
That is the general feeling of the Star Wars holiday special. Is you're watching things you shouldn't be watching. Like if someone walked in and caught you watching the Star Wars holiday special, you'd be like, oh, I don't even know what's going on. Like, you try to explain what you're watching and how it's not weird, but it's just so weird.
But it is weird.
You'd feel ashamed. Like, this is the point. You'd feel ashamed if someone caught you watching the Star Wars holiday special because of how weird it is. You wouldn't be able to explain. Their opinion of you would be worse.
Right, yeah.
Because they saw you watching this. Even if they'd never heard of the Star Wars holiday special. A lot of people have heard of it and understand that it's like bad and wasn't well received. And George Lucas supposedly bought up like pirated copies of it just to destroy them.
As is good and proper.
But, you know, like you would know like no one should be watching this just because of what it is. You know? I'm loving your drawing, by the way. If this had been the Star Wars holiday special, sure, it would have made no sense in the Star Wars world. But you've got two things that are awesome. Santa's sleigh pulled by X-Wings is incredible.
Yeah, as it should have been.
What is happening? Is the front glowing because it's the Rudolph
X-Wing?
Yeah,
it's the Rudolph X-Wing.
Lovely. Darth Vader standing on top of a TIE fighter. Easily one of the coolest things that ever happens in Star Wars. Which actually does happen in...
Yeah. And it's hilarious because his cape is blowing in space. Like
space.
He is using the Force.
In outer space, there's no wind, boys and girls, but Darth Vader's cape is still billowing, which means that he is... And this is in Rogue One. Where he's standing like in the cold heart of space and his cape is billowing, and it's because you know he's using the Force to push his own cape to make him standing there more epic.
He's using the Force to sustain himself in space.
Yeah.
From the cold, from the vacuum, all of it.
Yeah.
And he's using the Force to keep himself on the TIE fighter as it's flying. And he's using the Force to billow his cape.
Yeah. Just go Google sometime. Go Google, you know, Actually, the scene that I'm thinking of, there's two different scenes. There's a scene from Star Wars Rebels, the animated show, where he comes in standing on a TIE fighter.
Right.
There's a scene from Rogue One where he's standing in space and he's making his cape pillow.
Yeah.
Super epic. It's the best scene in Rogue One because it's also the only scene in Rogue One that has a lightsaber.
Right. Which is important.
It is important for Star Wars.
Yeah, so clearly, in this story, Santa gives coal to Darth Vader, so he chases him down.
Yeah.
And Santa's just, some Force user in the Star Wars world.
Yeah. He's clearly part of the Rebel Alliance.
He's
like a smuggler. He's bringing things to planets that...
But he's also a powerful Jedi. Like, he's not a Jedi, because he doesn't necessarily follow the Jedi code. But he's like a powerful Force user that brings, cheer according to the Force.
He's more ancient and powerful. He's kind of like, here, I'm going to make a really cool nerdy reference. You ready? He's like Tom Bombadil in Lord of the Rings to Star Wars.
Right.
Yeah. And if you don't know what that means, that's because you have not reached quite the level of nerd that Benj and I have yet. And you need to up your game. Go read Lord of the Rings. That'll help.
Is it just Star Wars Holiday Special?
That's all I called mine. Okay. Yeah, Star Wars Holiday Special. I will say that the Star Wars Holiday Special ends, as you would imagine. Han Solo, Chewbacca show up. They very, very awkwardly, I don't even want to say beat up the one Imperial stormtrooper that's there.
He trips himself off.
The stormtrooper drops his gun. Han Solo looks at the gun, pretends to take a step towards the gun. The stormtrooper
then
I'm sorry. So so they're standing on the second store balcony, with a railing, because it's just a normal suburban 70s house, but Star Wars-ish. So anyway, they drop the gun by the railing. Han Solo pretends to take a step towards it.
Right.
And the stormtrooper clearly overreacts and just flies through the railing off the side of the house and apparently dies. And then no one even picks up the gun.
Far enough that you don't hear him.
Yeah, he's gone. But it's so weird. Imagine I'm trying to just picture this in real life. There's no situation in which this would happen. But imagine you were standing by a counter and there was a drink, and you and your friend both look at the drink and you both want the drink. Maybe it's the last can of Dr. Pepper.
Right.
So you take a tiny little step towards the Dr. Pepper, like you're going to grab the Dr. Pepper, and your friend flies through the window.
Right, yeah.
Just so forcefully throws themselves through the glass of the window. And you pick up you don't even pick up the Dr. Pepper. You then just walk away.
Yeah.
That's basically what happened.
Then the family friend comes back.
Because he's the only one who can speak English.
Yeah. Just to talk to the Imperial officer, because that's the other thing. Another call goes out to apparently every house in the world.
I swear this is the most padded for length thing I've ever seen. Not only do you watch people walk upstairs and there's multiple terrible music videos or really awkward scenes that just keep going. But then, there's scenes like this. Where there's an Imperial officer that calls the house and is we can't get in contact. No, it's not even that. They broadcast seemingly to every TV on the entire planet of Kashyyyk.
Officer the 337, turn on your radio.
Yeah, are we to believe this is what happens every time an Imperial officer turns off their radio? They broadcast it to every screen on the planet until he turns it on, and then the family friend just comes up and swipes his Imperial card and is like, "Oh, well, actually, your officer...
He stole all of our food.
He broke in and stole all of our food and ran away." And the Imperial officer is just like, "Oh, okay. We'll send a search party." As if that's something you would believe. How often does that happen in the galaxy where you're like, "Oh, another officer just stole a family's food and ran out into the forest."
Right. And this is the house that was important enough for them to be at for 40 minutes. A crazy long time.
Yeah, they had to know.
This
is Chewbacca's house, right?
Like, did they not know it's Chewbacca's house?
I guess they
Because if they didn't, why were they there for so long?
Well, I mean, like, let's be honest. Did any of you listening to this video know that Chewbacca had a family? Like a wife and a father and a son? Of course you didn't, because, like, that's weird, and everybody's trying to forget about it. Then you feel like he's a bad father because he's just, like, running off with Han Solo all the time. You never hear about his family.
Well, I mean, maybe he talks about them all the time. And Han Solo
never. Yeah, like, who knows what Chewbacca's saying? He's, like, talking about his family, and he's like, Chewie, it's a light speed. And you're like, he was just talking about his family. Yeah. You don't know. Yeah, maybe he is. It ends then with the family. Oh, no, let's say this. It ends with Han Solo and Chewbacca having an oddly intimate hug. And Han Solo being like, I gotta go, get the Falcon. Yeah. Before people wonder why it's parked in your front yard.
He apparently immediately teleports to this celebration.
Okay, so then there's a weird, maybe substance-induced scene where all the Chewbacca family is like putting on their red cult robes and holding their glowing orbs, and then appears at the life tree. They don't just
appear; they walk through the portal in space. It's weird. It's weirder than appearing there.
Yeah. Okay, so they walk through. I was trying to tone it down for the people at home. They won't believe everything we're saying.
But then
we're gonna get messages. It's like, did all this really happen?
But then, like, Chewie goes up on the stage,
of course,
and Han Solo
appears there. Luke appears there,
and
Princess Leia,
and the droids.
Yeah, they all appear on stage in some vaguely.
And then Princess Leia is just like hugging Chewbacca and looking at him weirdly.
Yeah, like his wife is right there. Like his wife is right there in the audience. And then Princess Leia, poor Carrie Fisher. I don't know how much money they paid her to do this. Decides this is
enough.
It was not. She decided that this was the appropriate time on a planet that's not her own, at a celebration that she doesn't even have the proper robe for.
I don't even think she understands what the celebration's about, because I don't.
But she wrote a song for the occasion and proceeds to sing it to everyone from the platform in front of the life tree.
But apparently that is the whole thing, because then everyone leaves.
And that is the end, I think.
Well, no, because then they go home.
And they all sit around the table and they bow their heads and pray to whatever god the Wookiees pray to. It gives you a weird moment of like, are they Christian? Like,
Yeah, it's like they don't talk. They just put their heads down.
Yeah. But anyway, then it finally ends. And the credits roll, and George Lucas's name is nowhere in them.
Nope.
Good for him. We watched
we waited just to see.
Directed by, written by, no. Like, not even like Star Wars was created by George Lucas.
Like, this had no association with George Lucas.
And that is for his one, like, it's so good for him.
20th Century Fox put their name on it. That's unfortunate for them.
Yeah. If you've ever listened to interviews with any of the actors from Star Wars about this, they either deny that it exists, even though it did, or they, like, vaguely apologize for ever doing it. Or basically like, we didn't know what was like.
Yeah, or they directly insult it.
Oh, yeah. No, they do. Like, everyone knows this is bad.
Yeah.
And now you all know it's bad. You've seen us fix it. We've given you the Star Wars Holiday Special that you always wanted. Our video is almost as long as the Star Wars Holiday Special. So, like...
It is better.
It's better. So, like, if you're looking for the Star Wars Holiday Special to watch with your family, it would be better worth your time to show them this. Maybe Google a couple of pictures along the way, than to show them the actual thing.
If you
I'm not saying this.
If you pause the video and look up the pictures we told you to, it will probably make it be the same amount of time,
and your life will be better for it. This is a better experience. And I'm not just like saying this.
Just looking at this picture or the picture Isaac drew for an hour and 40 minutes,
just staring at it.
Yeah,
it won't make you feel uncomfortable. You can show your kids this. Yeah, you can't show your kids the Star Wars Holiday Special. No, you can't show them, Grandpa.
Don't show anyone.
Don't show them any of it. Like it's not like some people are like, oh, it was really bad. And you're like, yeah, it's like, but it's like Monty Python bad, right? Like it's funny. Yeah. No, it's like awkward and uncomfortable
the whole time.
The whole thing.
Uncomfortable.
You wish you weren't watching it. If, like I said, if anyone walked in, you'd be like, oh, I'm so... You just feel the need to apologize for who you're being at the moment. Like, it's not... It's not good.
No.
Ours is better. You're welcome. That sounds. That sounds. You're welcome. I would say like, Happy Life Day, everybody.
No. Like, the only thing we can assume about that holiday is that drugs are involved. Because, I mean, what else? Like, there's no way that Luke and Han Solo or anyone was even there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because Han left saying, I need to get to the Falcon before anyone discovers it. And then he's just at the life tree. So and we saw
we're
Luke.
Talking too much.
He was working on the engine. His plane didn't work. They weren't there.
Just in case you didn't know the movie was bad, hopefully that last little tidbit really solidified it in your mind. It's bad. Merry Christmas. End video here.
Bye.
It's so bad. As always, we're surprised you made it this far into our video.
There's no way we could possibly ask you to subscribe to this atrocity, so we won't.
We would say share it with your friends, but it's probably better for wasting your enemy's time.
We're probably not going to get any better, but we will keep drawing.
See you next time.